Today I have this Garmin Forerunner 745 watch, which I was testing for past month, putting it through its paces, and really I want to share the great and not so great about this watch, and why I was really surprised how cool this watch is, even when you compare it to Garmin Fenix 6X Pro. So it has its benefits, it has its negative sides, but really overall it's an awesome watch which really makes a lot of sense to consider looking through a whole Garmin lineup available right now. So let's jump into it. We'll talk about fitness, weight, comfort, performance, everything. Fitness tracking features are very common across all the Garmin watches I did review recently. This is really awesome companion, an awesome digital coach, as I really like to call it this way, because it really, with Garmin suggested workouts, it is really a great experience and really is pushing me to improve my performance and my running pace. So it tracks all the fitness aspects. It tracks VO2 max, it tracks load throughout 7 days and actually suggests optimal load depending on your performance. It also tracks 4 weeks load to make sure that you're balanced overall, and it's really an awesome feature which allows you to balance low aerobic, high aerobic and anaerobic exercise benefits in your overall training schedule. It also tracks recovery and allows you to understand when you are ready for the next run or next heavy exercise. So if you, let's say you just had a very intense workout and you have really strained yourself, it will calculate your recovery, for instance, for 35 hours. So next day it will not even suggest heavy exercise, it will suggest you to have a rest or have a very light exercise. So it's one of very cool features which also is available on Fenix 6X Pro. And definitely mentioning suggested workouts, which I was following for past 4 or 5 months really on different Garmin watches. It really is an awesome experience and really is one of main selling points, at least for me, for any Garmin watches which have this ability. So it's a big benefit. It's also a thing why I switched from Apple Watch to Garmin, because of that those fitness tracking and those suggested workouts, which are suggested according to your ability to recover, according to your fitness level, according to your ability to push harder, really. It also tracks your health metrics, so heart rate, stress, and these are very important really, even when you focus only on exercising, because stress levels you are encountering throughout the day will impact the time you need for recovery. So if you have a stressful time, really it will impact your recovery and will need few or even 10 or more hours of additional recovery time. So that's really awesome thing to have in mind. And also it has a very cool feature of body battery, which basically calculates amount of stress and rest you have throughout the day, and gives you additional advices on having a rest if you're really stressing out through the day. And another important aspect from fitness perspective is also sleep tracking, which definitely has an impact on your recovery, because better quality sleep you have, faster you are recovering. So if you have very good quality sleep, you will be able to recover faster. But if you have poor sleep and if you are interrupted a lot, it will definitely have a negative impact on recovery, and you have to recover a bit more. And it really makes a lot of sense, because when you doing a heavy exercises, your body needs more time to recover muscles and other body systems. And if you're stressing, if you're not sleeping well, it takes more time to recover. So this is very important aspect. And yeah, it will definitely track your calories, your heart rate during the day, your steps. You have also pulse oxygen if it's something interesting to you. Notifications, weather, calendar, also thing I'm testing out, which is Garmin Coach. So this is probably will be one of next videos I will be talking about. Yeah, and you also have intensity minutes, floor climbs, and yeah, all those other feature aspects which I mentioned. Also, not to forget that Forerunner 745, as most of our Garmin watches, has ability to connect to N+ accessories and Bluetooth accessories. So if you have a heart rate monitor, strap, or any additional equipment, you will be able to connect it same to Forerunner as you can with Fenix. Let's talk about battery life. And really, this is a smaller device than Fenix 6X, and it's also smaller than let's say Forerunner 945. Still have approximately a week on full charge. I don't see too much of a problem with battery being a bit smaller. So if you really care about having as long as possible battery life, Forerunner 945 or Fenix 6 is really better option for you. Another awesome aspect of this watch is that it is really light and small, and that really surprised me, because when I put the watch on, it felt like, okay, it's light, but I don't see too much of a difference compared. But when I actually, after a month of using Forerunner, I put on my Fenix 6X Pro, it really felt heavy and clunky, and if I would have those both watches and would have a choice which one I would take for a run, it's very likely will be Forerunner because of its weight and size. And another interesting aspect is really size of bands. So if you compare Ultra Fit band from Garmin, which was recently released with Endura watch of Garmin, it's much more comfortable. Once I put this Ultra Fit band on, I never wanted to come back to this original band. And for comparison, this silicone band is as comfortable as Ultra Fit band on Fenix 6X. So I'm not sure what is actually the biggest impact of the watch being so comfortable, and I presume that if we would have similar size, compatible size Ultra Fit band for this watch, it would be even more comfortable. But even with this setup, with a silicone band, is much more comfortable than wearing 6X Pro, even with Ultra Fit band. And these are slightly different materials used on this watch, so definitely Fenix is a much tougher and resilient device. It has good protection of the screen with bezels protecting it along the side, and it's much more tougher materials overall. But I would say I don't feel that Forerunner 745 is at any level not enough strong. I would say it still has a recessed bezel which protects the glass, so after using it for a bit, I don't see any scratches, and even the kinks on the bezel, it looks quite good, and I definitely bumped it on the walls and doors a few times, and it still looks like new. So I would say durability of this watch is maybe a bit less than Fenix 6 or similar, but it's still very good, and having in mind its weight and size, I definitely think it's a good balance. And another cool aspect of this watch compared to other Garmin watches is specific watch faces. And you can see this watch face, which I really didn't want to change to anything else because it was showing the 7-day load. And really I used it as a motivation to keep my load in balance and not to skip some runs. So I think this, while it's just a software feature, which in theory could be enabled on any other Garmin watch, but Garmin does design specific watch faces for specific watches, so they would actually stand out. Another negative aspect which I felt, especially during the runs, that buttons are not as tactile as, let's say, Fenix Fenix watches, so you can actually feel and even hear when you're clicking buttons, especially if you with gloves. And I noticed that with Forerunner, if I would be with gloves and if there is any delay, like switching on the music while I'm running, I sometimes will think that I already clicked it, but it didn't work, or maybe I didn't click and press the button a second time, and it would actually jump through different options in a delay. So that I really didn't like on Forerunner watch, but it wasn't such a big of a problem really. So once I got used to that these buttons are not as tactile, it was not such a big problem anymore. But if you really like this tactile presses of tactile sounds and feels of Fenix series, it might be something you need to have in mind when deciding on a purchase. So who is this Forerunner 745 is best for? I would say people who run quite a lot, and especially running at high paces, because when you're doing some sprint intervals and like long distance running, you can really feel the difference of the weight, and definitely the name suggests really as well, it's Forerunner. It's designed for runners, and it really feels like that. So while you have all the features in Fenix 6X, other than let's say watch face, you can really feel the weight, and you can really feel that this watch is overbuilt for running, and you have to deal with that weight, with that size. And size really makes a difference when you're running, especially without heart strap, heart monitor. You need to make the watch really snug on your wrist, and smaller size, smaller weight really makes it easier and more comfortable to run. I usually run with heart rate strap all the time, but even in that case, it really feels much more comfortable to run with Forerunner than with Fenix 6X. Another aspect of Forerunner 745 is that it doesn't have maps built in. So if you like the lighter weight and focus on running specifically of this Forerunner 745, but you want better battery life and maps, Forerunner 945 is a really good option if you don't want to go for bigger and bigger size of Fenix 6X. Forerunner 945 will be similar bezel size as Fenix 6X, but will be slightly lighter and smaller because of its design. And if we just briefly compare it to Apple Watch, you can see the size is much more similar with Fenix 6X and the Fenix 6 series, and still it has a much better battery life, has much better fitness features, and still has a better durability. Mostly, I would say, because of more rugged materials and the design of the bezel, because it still has a recessed glass, which really helps a lot in case you hit the watch into this corner. Like with Apple Watch, all your hits actually go into the glass, and you're scratching the glass much more frequently, even with exactly the same wear compared to Forerunner. That's also something what I really like about Forerunner. Thank you for watching. I hope you liked this video. If you have any comments, please drop them below. I'm doing my best to reply all the comments and even give additional advices or answer any specific questions about this or similar models of Garmin watches. And definitely drop comments about any specific aspects or videos you would like to see me making. And also I have a link in the description below to subscribe for my newsletter, where I will be making very short small videos answering some of your questions. So please subscribe, put your email in, and ask anything you are interested about.